Lynn here. Welcome back to my Country Craft Corner. How in the world are you guys doing today? It is so good to see you again, and thank you so much for stopping back by to see what I'm up to. And what I'm up to today is I'm headed to get my hair did. Yes, I am. I am going to be getting a nice trim. I decided I'm going to take it shorter again. It's just looking stringy, and I've just not been happy with the way it's been working out this time when it's getting longer. So I think I'm just going to take it right about chin length, shoulder length, maybe. You know, we'll see. Okay, are you going to stop at the stop sign there, lady? Yeah, there's somebody else that lives in this neighborhood, I promise you. Sorry, she about just zipped right out in front of me. So anyway, that's where I'm going today, to see Sandy, and I think this will be my first video in my new cruising series. We are leaving in a few days to go on our cruise, and today I get my hair did, and then Wednesday I get my nails did. So I might just, you know, have this video run for a few days and show you my, you know, just my prep. I'm really not doing anything major. Of course, I've done this 500 million times, and I'm so grateful that we get to go to Alaska for the second time this year. We are going to Alaska, I'll tell you that. We're going to Alaska. We're going to be doing a 10-day round trip out of Vancouver. So Vancouver back down to Vancouver, and we're doing Ketchikan, Juneau, Skagway, Sitka, and Icy Strait Point, and a sea day thrown in there for good measure, somewhere a couple sea days, I think, and Glacier Bay. Oh my goodness. Of course, I won't do an Alaska cruise without having Glacier Bay on the itinerary, as I've said many times. For those of you who are on my Arlen's Country Craft Corner channel, even though I just got done doing my fall decor series, and we'll be starting the Christmas series here, you know, probably around the end of October, honestly. My husband and I do cruise a lot, and we do vacation every now and again. And on this channel, I not only bring you crafting and decorating, and I bring you other parts of our lives too. So I kind of share, you know, our lives with you. Now on if you're watching from Arlen's Travels channel, you know I've gone quiet for a little while, and I'm so sorry about that. But if you're ever interested in what I'm up to when we're not traveling, do head over there to Arlen's Country Craft Corner channel, and I will leave a link in the description, and subscribe if you would over there if you're interested in what else we're up to, and or my decorating. You know, I decorate seasonally, and I really enjoy decorating. That is my passion. And of course, I do more decorating than I do traveling, unfortunately, because we do love to travel. So, but I just wanted to mention that to those of you on my Arlen's Travels channel. I do have another channel here on YouTube called Arlen's Country Craft Corner, and it is actually the larger of my two channels. Again, because I do more crafting, decorating, and that kind of thing than I do traveling. But I wanted to thank all of you guys on my travels channel who subscribed with my last series there when we did the Panama Canal and then Alaska and so on. Thank you guys so much for coming along, and I'm going to try to be giving you some content from the cruise ship as well. It will take me longer to upload those videos, so please know that I will do my best and bring you what I can when I can on the ship. It might be different days, you guys, I'm not sure. Plus the time difference is quite, it's, you know, what is it, 4 hours difference between the East Coast and Alaska. So, you know, my computer might be like, what time am I supposed to put this up? And so it might seem a little bit different as we're traveling here. But anyway, as I said, we're doing the Alaska round trip, and then we're staying on the ship. We're going to be on the Caribbean Princess this time. And Scott, my friend Scott Singer, you know, he always teases me. He says, yes, you're doing Alaska on the Caribbean, you know. And I said, I know, it's hard to wrap your brain around, you know. But anyway, we're going to be staying on board because it is her the Caribbean Princess's last Alaska cruise of the season, and we will stay on her as she repositions down to LA. So, and then I'm not sure where she'll go. She'll either go to Hawaii or Mexico, probably. I'm not sure. But the Alaska season will be over for 2025 after that cruise. So, after this last cruise. But we're doing the California Coaster, and I believe it's a sea day, and then San Francisco, and then another sea day, and then Catalina Island, I think, which is different for us. We've never been there. And then down to San Diego, and then back to San Pedro in Los Angeles, and then we'll fly home from LAX. We are going and coming out of Richmond this time, thank goodness, because last time we came into Reagan National and Kill Me Now, that was not fun to try to find our rental car, really, is what we were trying to do. And boy, there's a lot of people at my light here today. I left them plenty of time though, so I should have no problem. There's tons of people out here. Anyway, so we're gonna park our Outback at the Richmond International Airport and pay to park it there in the parking garage. And that's where it will sit for the 17 days, that we're away, and it'll be fine. It'll be fine there. So we're flying, I think, United this time. And I think we're going through Denver. I think we're going from Richmond to Denver up to Vancouver, and then from LA, and then, on the back end, we will leave out of LA through, gosh, you know what? I don't know. I can't remember what our flight is. I'll type it up here. And then back to Richmond later in the evening. We usually, because of the time change again from the West Coast to the East Coast. So, and then after I'm home, I'm only home for a week and a half before all my cousins come to visit me at our house. So we've got a lot to do back at the house when we get home from this trip. But anyway, I'm always busy, always doing something. I wanted to let you know that we did go to the kids' house because we aren't going to see them, for a few weeks here, and celebrated our daughter's birthday. And for those of you in my Facebook group, you'll know that I'm ahead of myself. I finished my fall decor here. I'm ahead of myself in time, or I'm ahead of what my videos are showing you with my decorating. Of course, now that when you see this, my whole fall decor series will be up and running, and you will have also seen another purging video from me. So I'm a busy lady. What can I say? I'm a busy lady. I've had to pre-record because I wanted you to see the whole series of my fall series, and I promised videos Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon, so again, I doubt I'm going to be able to keep up that schedule when I'm traveling, but I'll do my best. So anyway, we went to the kids' house yesterday, and Candace's we celebrated her birthday. I took cupcakes because I know she loves cupcakes, and all the kids love our grandboys. We have grandsons, 3 grandsons. Here are all of us, and me and Samson is the oldest in the back there. Then Odin is the next, and then Lil Mav is the third. And to tell you, for those that might not know, our daughter Candace and her significant other Sean, they are blending their family. The 2 boys were Sean's, and Lil Maverick is Candace's, and they are blending them beautifully. And we just adore Sean and his boys. We just adore them. Just sweet kids and wonderful little family unit, that they're making there. So we had those, but Sean made his smash burgers. Oh my gosh, I love them. And then Candace made her homemade French fries. I love them. And I am still working so hard on keeping my weight at least the same. It's difficult when I have days like that, and it is. I have not lost any more, you guys. I lost close to 100 pounds, but I haven't crested the 100 pounds lost, and I'm not beating myself up. I'm still grieving. I'm still going through that process. After the loss of our oldest daughter, Kristen, to natural causes back in November of 2023. I don't want to get on that, but it's been a battle. I'm telling you, you guys, it's been a battle. So, you know, but I just take it one day at a time, you know. But anyway, back to the day we had. We just had a great time with those kids. They are wonderful kids. Watched them play video games, and they were, you know, doing sword fights and, you know, all kinds of stuff playing. It was wonderful, and they have a beautiful home, and they've really turned their new house. It's not a new house, it's a new to them house, you know, but they have turned it into a home. Candace's decor is beautiful. She's doing such a great job in that realm, and they work seamlessly as a team together, these two. They really do. I'm just so happy for them. I'm happy for them, and I'm happy, and they're exhausted, you know, because I don't know whether you guys think this, but I always think that being a parent is the most difficult job on the planet, you know. And then when you add both of those kids, Sean and Candace have big jobs, big, important, stressful jobs, you know, and they handle it beautifully. I'm telling you, beautifully. So we had a great time, and then now today, and starting today is when I really start to turn my brain to what kind of clothes I want to take. And we actually went out and bought 2 new suitcases for me, you guys. I'm going to tell you right now, I did not care for the hard-sided suitcase. I took it on our trip to Myrtle Beach. For those on my travels channel, we took a family vacation to Myrtle Beach, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. It was too flimsy when I went to open it. Every time I went to look in it, I had to open it up all the way. So I had to put it up on the bed and open it up all the way. Unlike, you know, the soft-sided where you could just lift it up and grab something out of it. You really can't do that with the hard-sided. So and it wasn't as big as my hard-sided or my soft-sided. So we went to Kohl's the other night and picked up 2 new suitcases, and I will be using at least one of those, maybe both. I don't know. I'm going to try not to. My goodness, traffic is terrible out here, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm going to try not to use my garment folder this time. Cheryl, my friend, and she's also a wonderful travel agent, tells me, Arlene, all I do is I take all of my clothes on my hanger that I have on hangers, and I just fold them into the suitcase on their hangers while they're still on their hangers. So I was like, I wonder if I could do that. That would be so much easier. It's such a pain when you get there to unfurl all of the clothes out of the folder, you know, because everything else gets put on shelves. All of my cubes, you know, my cubes that I'll use for my slacks and my capris and stuff, they go on a shelf. I'm taking a couple of skirts, they'll go on a shelf. You know, my undergarments go in a drawer in the cube beside the bed, you know, so everything else stays in a cube. And we are moving staterooms this time. We have to move from port side to starboard side, pretty much just right across the hall. But when we went to book this, we booked this trip a little later in the season, so we couldn't get the same stateroom for both cruises. So how easy would it be for me to instead, well, they always take the hanging stuff, but anyway, regardless, it would just be easier if I can manage to do it that way. So that's why I say I may take both the suitcases that we got, because I might need to, I don't know how much I'll let you know. I'll let you know when I go to pack how much I can fit, and if it's more efficient or less efficient. I know it will be more efficient once I'm on the ship. I know that, you guys, because all I'll have to do is open my suitcase and take them out and, you know, put the hangers in the closet. Everything on the hangers in the closet. Now, how easy would that be? Instead of unfolding them and finding a hanger, putting on the hanger, blah, 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 blah. It's a to-do when you get on the ship and unpack. So it would just be easier to pull them all out by the hanger and put them on. So I'm here. I'm going to try to find me a parking place. I'm going to park over here today. Actually, there we go. Here we go. Park. We are here. So I've got a couple of minutes here that I can continue on. Oh my goodness, this hair. So I will be glad to get this trimmed up to, like I say, probably right here. And my bangs obviously need to be trimmed. And highlights, and which will really bring out the low color. I am very gray right now. Look at that. I'm very gray. So that's why it looks so light, because the gray is all coming through. So anyway, where was I? So we'll see. We'll see if I can get away without using the garment folder. I'm hoping that that'll work. Chris just tried to call me. He's out and about, and he left me a message. Anyway, I'll let you go. So, and I'll come back when I'm done with my haircut, and we'll go from there. All right? All right. Be back. Okie dokie, everybody. I'm back, and take a look. Oh my goodness. She cut it shorter again, and I absolutely love it. I love it. I need to keep it short, you guys. I feel so much better with it short. It's bouncier, it holds its shape better, and I just absolutely love it. So now I'm headed over here to a little Chinese restaurant that Chris and I like to frequent sometimes, and we haven't eaten here in a long time. So he's meeting me. He's coming from the house, and he is going to meet me at this restaurant. So that's where I'm heading now. But I am going to close this one off right now. I just came back to show you my hair, because I'll come back on Wednesday and we'll do a little bit more chitting and chatting about our upcoming trip. And that's the day I get my nails done. So I'll show you that whole process too. So not that I showed you my hair process, but all right, you know, I'll catch you again in just a couple of days. It'll be just like that for you guys though. Bye. Hi everyone. Well, I'm finally back. Do you believe this? I was planning on coming back on the Wednesday after I videotaped my very first part of this video, and when I was getting my hair done, you know, and I just completely did not get a chance to come back, you guys. So I can't even hardly remember what I said in that video, but we are going to continue on, and I'm going to tell you about our travels here. Instead of packing and everything, you guys have seen plenty of my packing videos, and so I'm not going to go back to my packing. I did get my nails done. I'll show you that. Oh my goodness, they're so pretty. Just a French manicure, and with chrome. Look at the chrome on there. Isn't that pretty? So that's what I got my nails done that Wednesday, and we were scheduled to leave on that Friday morning for our trip. So I'll tell you one thing that stopped me in my tracks was the assassination of Charlie Kirk, you guys. That was one thing that really stopped me and kind of took the wind out of my sails for a couple of days, I'll be honest. What a force he was, as his wife said. He was a force. And I know we are all mourning, those of us who followed him, his loss. So, and what a tragic, tragic, tragic day that was, and what a loss for those who really, really, really appreciated what he shared and his demeanor and everything. God rest his soul. Well done, my good and faithful servant, as I am sure what he heard when he entered those pearly gates, you guys. I am absolutely sure that's what he heard. So he left his wife and children behind, who she is being as strong as can be. So, but anyway, so that, I'm going to be honest with you, really stopped me in my tracks there a little bit. So we're going to move on now, and we're going to start out with, I may put a quick little video here of me just putting some, I packed it a little bit of a different way. I actually took this from Cheryl. She is my travel agent, actually. And the way she packs her hanging clothes, she keeps them on hangers and she just folds them into her suitcase. And I did that, and oh my goodness, was unpacking a breeze. So I did not use my garment folders this time. Instead, this is what I did. So let me show you that real quick. that neat? Oh my goodness, it worked like a charm, you guys, too. Now, that said, I don't think I had quite as much room in the suitcase for other things, but I was planning on taking 2 suitcases anyway, just for me, and I managed to fit everything in with weight to spare. So I was good. So here I am the morning that we were leaving and standing in our kitchen there, and it's very early. It was, we left the house about 4:30, 4:45, something like that. So I had stayed up all night. I could not sleep anyway. So I had stayed up all night, and had gotten in the shower about 3:30ish, something like that, and got myself ready to go. And as you can see there, I'm just wearing a, kind of capris to ankle pants and a black shirt and a floral jacket. I made a mistake though with that floral jacket. I have one with pockets in it, and this one does not have pockets, and I missed those pockets later because I was freezing cold on one of the flights. And there you can see my backpack that I have packed with everything I needed. So off we went and drove down to Richmond International Airport, about an hour-and-a-half drive for us. We got there with no problem, and thankfully our flight was on time. Our first flight was with United. And Chris and I both said that the jet we were on was not necessarily the best. And I might have called it a bucket of bolts, actually. It was a little bit old, that plane. But Chris, bless his heart, we sat first, the very first seats with right in front, and I appreciate him so much for booking those seats. And it's easy for me to get up and go to the bathroom. I don't have to struggle at all. We did take my scooter, and we checked it at the gate, and I was able to drive it right down the walkway to the jet, leave it right there. They took it off and put it under the plane there, and then brought it up when we got to Denver. So our first flight was from Richmond on time to Denver. Actually, in flight, it was fine, and the flight attendants were just wonderful. We had a meal that I didn't take a picture of. It was breakfast. It was like a cheese, and what else did we have? It was cereal and like a croissant and a little bit of cheese, a little cheese platter. And a banana. That's right, no banana. And I had hot tea, and Chris had a cup of coffee. So that's what we had. And we got into Denver on time. Well, no, we didn't. We got there late. We got into Denver late. And we were a little concerned because we had to go from Concourse B to Concourse A, which was, we had to go find the train system there at Denver, and had to find it, get on it, and go over to Concourse A, and then had to walk not too far once we got to the other concourse, but we only had about 10 minutes to spare by the time we got over there. And thankfully they were able to check the scooter back in, and that was a little bit nerve-wracking, I will say. I have to say that was a little bit nerve-wracking. So we got onto the flight, an Air Canada flight, and oh my goodness, that jet was the polar opposite of the jet we had just come off of. It was gorgeous, wasn't it, honey? Well appointed, beautiful new seats. Didn't have a spot on it anywhere. It was absolutely beautiful. Well, we had TVs like in the bulkhead in front of us on both planes, but on this plane it was much bigger screen, and very, 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 very nice. So we sat on the tarmac. Well, we didn't sit. The pilot put it this way: we are in Denver rush hour right now, but it took us an hour after we boarded the flight, and now everything was shut, and he got us into the queue, into the takeoff queue. It took us an hour. We were just inching along every 5 minutes, it seemed. And he said he said, folks, we have about 20 jets in front of us that need to take off before it's our turn. And we were just like, oh my goodness. So, and there were people in the back of the plane who had a really close connection. And when we got to Denver, the flight attendant said, okay, everybody, we've got 5 passengers on here who really have to rush to their next connection. Please, if everybody could just remain in their seats and let them be the first 5 off of the plane, we would really appreciate it. And do you know, nobody moved until those people were off the plane. Everybody was very, very kind and cordial. And I was like, thank you thank you, everybody, you know. And they got off and they're thanking everybody as they're coming. Thank you guys, thank you so much, as they're coming up the aisle. Poor folks, my heart went out to them because we had just rushed to get to that plane, you know. So we didn't care what time we got into Vancouver, honestly. But anyway, we got into Vancouver. I believe it was late. He did make up some time in the air, but we were still late, but that's why they were having to rush. But for us, it was not that big of a deal. So we got off the plane. They brought up my scooter pretty quickly from underneath the plane, and off we went toward baggage, well, toward immigration, and we had to go to a kiosk. Now, we had filled out ArriveCan before we flew, and I don't know whether it made a difference or not. We started having to do that during COVID, and then now it's not mandatory, but some people say it makes it quicker at the kiosk. I honestly don't know. It didn't take us but a minute at the kiosk, I will say, because we had pre-done the ArriveCan app. So, you know, it didn't hurt us. So I would say go ahead and fill it out if you want to, you know. So ArriveCan.com or something like that. And maybe I'll try to see if I can put a link in the description for that. So we went straight through there, and then right through Border Patrol. My goodness, they just looked at what your kiosk will spit out, you guys. You got to hold on to that. Hold on to that paper, because they do take a picture of you. There is facial recognition, so they do take a picture of you, and then they print off your picture and whatever other information, and you have to carry that with you. So keep that with you. Don't stick it in your backpack. Don't stick it in some place where you go, okay, now I know where I stuck it, and then 10 minutes later you're going, oh goodness, what did I do with that? How many times has that happened to you? It happens to me all the time. I'm too organized. I'm overly organized. So, and then I can't find anything sometimes. So we went through Border Patrol, no problem. Got to the luggage carousel, and here comes the luggage. There's one of my suitcases, and there's Chris's suitcase, and our third suitcase was nowhere to be found. I was like, you got to be kidding me. So off to the Air Canada desk we went, and they were very, very, very helpful there. They said, oh, yeah, we found it. It's still in Denver. I'm like, no way. I said, we're getting on a cruise tomorrow. Is there any way they can get it here by tomorrow? And they said, oh, well, we'll try. There's other flights that are coming out of Denver tonight that are coming here. So we should be able to get it on one of those flights and get it here. And then we'll either get it to you to your hotel, or we'll get it to you on the cruise ship. And I was like, oh my goodness. So we were stressing. And I know, don't yell at me. I had packed all of my bottoms in that suitcase, and all of my makeup, every lick of my makeup. Yes, and some of my hair tools. Chris had taken some in his, so I had a couple of curling irons. Well, I take my Dyson. You know, I have a Dyson Airwrap that Candace and Sean got me for Christmas last year. I love that thing, absolutely love it. But I did bring on 2 curling irons, because sometimes with the sea, my hair doesn't hold. Anyway, regardless, I had 2 curling irons. So, well, there we are. So by the time we walked out to the courtesy shuttle place, we were pretty frazzled, you guys, because I was like, I hope, I kept telling Chris, they're surely going to get it to us before we get on the ship. Excuse me. Because they don't want to have to bring it to Ketchikan, you know, which was our next port of call. He asked me, he says, what's your first port of call? I said, Ketchikan. And he went, oh. And I was like, yeah, I don't think you guys want to, you know, ship it up to, or fly it up to Ketchikan. So anyway, we left there not knowing if we would have our bag or not, you know, or not knowing if I would have my bag. We just didn't know. So we went and found the courtesy shuttle, waited and waited and waited. They were supposed to come at 1:15 and 45 after the hour. Well, come to find out, we got there right when they were doing a shift change. So Barb and Don had been there a half an hour before us, or 45 minutes before us, had gotten one shuttle driver. We had a totally different shuttle driver who came around and went, oh, you have a scooter. And I was like, yes, and you have a big van. Well, it's against company policy for us to put the scooter on our vans. And I went, you've got to be kidding me. Nobody said a word to me. There wasn't anything on your website that said that I wasn't supposed to bring a scooter. What in the world? you know? And he said, well, you probably need to take a taxi. And I just looked at him. And then he kind of backed down. And I'm just like, my eyes didn't well up really, but the look on my face must have been really pitiful. Because he said, okay. He said, we'll put it in here for this time, but just know from now on. I said, I don't have a problem taking a taxi if I know that's what I need to do, you know? Anyway, but we looked at the hotel and it had a courtesy shuttle and it was a big anyway, regardless. So he put us in the shuttle and Chris helped him load the scooter and all the suitcases and everything. It wasn't like he was doing it all by himself. Chris was right there with him, helping him every step of the way. Because Chris would not want to neither one of us want to inconvenience anybody, you know, but anyway. So off to the hotel we went. We stayed at the Accent Inn. And this is a different place for us, our airport, Accent Inn Airport in Vancouver. And it was lovely, you guys. It was absolutely lovely. It kind of put you in the mind of a motel because it had outside doors. We were up on the 3rd floor, very quiet. I didn't hear a lot of road noise or anything like that. Very quiet. You walked in. I have some pictures of it. You walk in and there's like a little couch and tables and a little desk. Only thing about the room is it was really dark. They didn't have a lot of lighting in the room. You know, I'm like, where are more lights? We can't see what we're doing, you know. So that was a little, not the only negative thing, if you want to call that negative. So, and then as you walk on through the living area, there's like sinks and vanity on one side and like toilet room and shower on another side through a little hallway. And you also had a microwave and complimentary coffee. And you could go down into their lobby and get coffee. Didn't have a continental breakfast or a buffet breakfast or anything like that. But anyway, you walk on through and there's a king size bed and it was lovely. It was a lovely little place. It really was. Very clean, very well kept. The staff was superb. They had a little eating area, outside patio area kind of it was actually a kind of a deck out on the mezzanine deck, you know, or floor on the 2nd floor. Only was 3 stories high. We were on the 3rd. So, but the elevator worked great. It was a big elevator. We were able to put both of us, our 3 suitcases, our backpacks, and the scooter on. It was a very nice size elevator. So we had a great time there and met Barb and Dawn there. And we all went to McDonald's and had dinner because there's a McDonald's nearby. No, they don't have breakfast there, but they do have McDonald's. So we ate McDonald's for dinner that night and breakfast the next morning, which was yesterday morning. So Chris was watching his email. I was watching my email for updates about my suitcase, you know, because I'm like, and in the meantime, Barb and I took a lift that evening, the day we flew. I still haven't had any sleep, mind you, up to this point. I'm still running on like adrenaline or something. I'm not even sure. So we got a lift, she and I, and went to Walmart. This Walmart, for one thing, was packed. Oh my goodness. But I needed to I didn't know for sure if my suitcase was going to come, you guys. And I just can't go into any port shop and pick up a pair of pants that's going to fit this big old body of mine. Even with losing weight, you guys, I'm still a plus size girl, you know? So it's not easy for me, as I know a lot of you can relate. I just couldn't go to any store and say, oh, let me pick up a medium of this or, you know, whatever. As much as I want that to be the case and hope one day again it is, it's not right now. So Barb said, well, we'll just go to Walmart. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired. And I'm like, forget it. It doesn't matter whether I'm tired. I need to do this. Plus I didn't have a stitch of makeup. And the guy at the airport at the Air Canada place said, you could submit your receipt for anything you buy that we've inconvenienced you because we messed up and didn't get your bag and we'll reimburse you. And I said, okay. So off to Walmart we went, and Barb and I were like a couple of teenagers in there. I went into we found a bunch of clothes. My size, actually sizes bigger and smaller. We weren't sure what would fit, you know, in Walmart. So we went in and I ended up buying 2 pairs of black jeans and a couple of pairs of one little pair of floral pants and another pair of striped night pants. I got myself a nightgown and I got makeup. Now, for those of you who have followed me for more than a minute, you guys are going to know that all I ever wear is Clinique, because I have always been highly sensitive to any other makeup. Well, I was in there and I was like, oh my gosh, Barb, what did I use before I started using Clinique? And I had to rack my brains. And then I remembered Mom with her oil of Olay bottle, and she and I would share the oil of Olay. And I went, oil of Olay, that's what it was. And I said, I know my foundation was L'Oreal. So that's what I'm wearing right now. I liked it so much. I got my oil of Olay, you guys, and I've got it here. Where's my little bag here? Hang on, I'll show you. I got myself a little silicone cosmetic case. It is cute as a button. I love this. I wish they had a bigger one because I love this. And then I got just, of course I had to buy deodorant. I mean, all my cosmetics, my whole big cosmetic bag was in the suitcase. So this is the oil of Olay I bought. It's SPF, what is that, 15, complete. It is very, very, very luscious. I mean, it is so nice and creamy, you guys. And I absolutely love this. So that's what I used under my foundation. And then the foundation I got was this. You know, when you want a pair of glasses, you can't find them. L'Oreal True Match Super Blendable Foundation. And Barb was putting all the foundation colors up to my face, and she actually picked this, and this is what I'm wearing now. And you cannot see any delineation line or anything. This is luscious foundation, you guys, and not for way less expensive than what I pay for my makeup at Clinique. So I highly recommend this even for those of you who might have a little bit of a sensitive skin. I am probably going to switch this. That's how much I love it. It is full coverage. It is, I don't look overly made up. You know, I love it. I absolutely love it. So I did buy some eyeliner, mascara. I had lipstick. Thank goodness I had lipstick in my backpack because, you know, I don't go anywhere without my lipstick. And so all in all, I spent, it was 303 Canadian, which is less than 200, I think, or something. I can't remember what the exchange rate was, but less in US dollars. But, you know, you get what you need, you know, and I didn't overbuy with the makeup. I bought what I needed because in my mind, I needed it. You know, I could have gone without, of course, but I was like, no, I'm going to get it. Even if I end up having to pay for it, I'm getting it, you know. So anyway, we caught the lift back to the hotel, and she went to her room, I went to mine, and I collapsed. I'm telling you, we sat there and took all the tags off and packed up all the stuff, and I collapsed into bed. I was so tired, and that was about 8:30, 8:45, and got up at 3 or 4. I'd slept all I could sleep, and but I was so tired, you guys. I'd been up, I don't know how many hours. It was pretty crazy. So then that was embarkation morning. Chris and Barb walked to McDonald's and brought back McDonald's for breakfast. I had a little bacon, egg, and cheese bagel. That's what I had. And then we caught taxis to come to the port, or to go to the port. And the taxi cost 42 Canadian again, and then plus a tip, because we were about a half an hour or more away from the port, out there by the airport. So to let you know, traffic was atrocious, absolutely atrocious that morning. It took us longer than 30 minutes to get there. It was really not wonderful. The traffic wasn't, but our taxi driver, she was superb. She and I just chatted about, she was also a plus size girl, you know, so I was telling her my saga, you know, about going to Walmart and going, I didn't know what size to pick, you know, and she's like, I know. And she said, I hate Amazon. And anyway, we went on and on and on. So we got to the port. We got our taxis at 9:30, you guys. Got them at 9:30, and we got to the port by 10:15-ish. Dropped us off underneath Canada Place. I'm showing you pictures as I go here, so hopefully I'm covering all my bases here and you're being able to see what I'm talking about. And I'm gonna stop when I get to this morning, you guys, because then I will start again with ArriveCan. That will be our next video in this series. So But embarkation was very smooth. We were in the green lane, which means that we have the Princess app on our phone, and we filled out all the information and did followed all the prompts and did everything that we needed to do. We had ordered our medallions before we left, and we got our medallions in the mail. And I already had my clips, of course. You know, you've seen these 1,000 times. And yes, they do sell the clips here on board in various colors. Had the medallion, and again, breezed through security. I really can't go into a lot of detail there. I don't think they like you to do that, but it's just pretty much like an airport. You know, you get in line, you go and you check in, then you go through security, and then you're usually put in a waiting area to wait until it's time to board. But we walked straight on. We went right through security, and they were like, it's ready to board. We were on board by 11:05 a.m. 11:05 a.m. It's crazy. So we just went to the Palm dining room, main dining room, which is on the aft of the Caribbean Princess. Again, I've never been on the Caribbean Princess. She is an older girl, older ship, still in good shape. But anyway, I have, what else did we do? We went to lunch yesterday and then just kind of explored around the ship. We got back to our room. We got to our room. We hadn't gone to our room until after lunch, which was about 1:30. And our suitcases were sitting outside the door. Brought our suitcases in. It took us literally like a half an hour to unpack with everything on hangers. It's so much easier. And met our steward. And you can see, sorry you guys, I'm not, well, I know you can never catch up with your sleep, but I'm still sleepy. There you can see I've got, Barb actually bought me a bigger map that goes with the Cruise Companion book. She bought me a bigger one than what I have. So I put that up. Here you can see I have all my scarves here. And then I just have, this is all my family magnets over there and some Alaska magnets there. They do not have the TVs on the walls in here. Instead, they're up on the shelves like they used to be. Only they did replace the TVs and made them the big TVs, but they're not on the walls. So I'm imagining that they have that in the future, that they'll be put on the walls. So anyway, that we are in stateroom D706, and we are toward the aft and close to the laundry room, of course, like we always are. And have a beautiful balcony. We've already seen Doll's porpoises, and Chris and Dawn saw humpbacks today, and well, they were waiting in the buffet for Barb and I to get there, and it is lovely. We're having a lovely time and trying to get settled in. So I realize that this video is probably longer than it should have been, just because I never got back to you before we left. So I kind of wanted to cover everything up to this point. So in the next video, I'll start with Ketchikan. It's supposed to be torrential rains. I don't even know whether we're getting off tomorrow, but I'm sure I'll have more to tell you then. So stay tuned, and I will see you guys in the next one. Let me go through some final words and say thank you guys so much for stopping in here today. For those of you who might be struggling or suffering with a catastrophic illness, chronic pain, or have suffered a great loss, I hope that you have someone there with you, taking care of you, helping you get through each day, making the very, very best out of each day. I hope there's nothing weighing on your minds or your hearts, pulling your attention away from where you want it to be or from where it should be. I love y'all to bits, to bits, to bits. Hugs all around, and I keep you in my thoughts and my prayers every single day. And with all of that said, I'll just say, until next time, y'all take good care. Bye-bye.